Hey, why aren't you asleep? It's 4 in the morning. I'm calling the attorney first thing Monday morning to have him file for sole custody. What's going on? She's left daughter's prescription at the pharmacy for almost 2 weeks now. There's no way she's had enough supplies. Not only that, I'm looking at the pump information she uploaded for the week, and it's clearly showing she still isn't treating. There's also a period of 8 hours where she didn't have a pump on her overnight. Her blood glucose was over 400 the entire time. Daughter could have just not woke up again. She agreed to these terms, and then, within a month, has broken every single one. I know the attorney wants us to wait for a few weeks, but I can't. I'm tired. And I'm scared she's going to end up unaliving our daughter. Son did not have his glasses all weekend that he was with us, and daughter did not have her medical ID bracelet. Please ensure they have those every day. They are both very important for our children's health and safety. I told them to get their stuff before we left the house. I guess they chose not to put them on. Well, yes, they should have listened. They are both children. We need to ensure that they have these things with them at all times until they are old enough and mature enough to do it themselves. Daughter lost her bracelet. Not much I can do about that. That is the 6th bracelet lost in the past 12 months at your house. These are not cheap things. She needs to wear one at all times. Please search your home to see if you can find it. Yep, sure thing. Hey, her PDM still hasn't reconnected to Wi-Fi at your house. Her numbers have been really high for the last few days. Is there a reason you aren't able to get it connected? Is everything okay? Waiting for the doctors to call me back to correct the settings you decided to experiment with and get back the settings we are supposed to be using. I get the updates just fine on my phone. But whatever settings you chose must have messed it up. You are getting the notifications through Bluetooth. You just have to reconnect the PDM to your Wi-Fi and the issue will resolve. In order for me to use the Omnipod, it needs to be connected to Wi-Fi. There isn't any issues with the settings. You don't need to view her Omnipod 24/7. That's to be uploaded for the doctors to view for her appointments. Also, their open house at school was tonight. You missed it, not that you care. Just like you missed their dentist appointments this week. You pretend you want to know and be a part of their lives just so you can control her numbers. But you are never there for either child when they actually need you. We both know that is not true. Please reconnect her PDM to Wi-Fi so that this will not be misconstrued as an attempt to hide information or evade documentation as per our mediation agreement. There's no attempt to hide anything. We no longer have Wi-Fi in this household because we have no need for it. Haven't had it for a while now. She has a smartphone that the Dexcom is connected to so that you can spy on her. Your actions show that you don't actually care about the kids, just control. Now leave me alone. I have to get the kids ready for their You are not allowed to make changes without permission from both the doctor and me. As per the notes from her last doctor's appointment, we are actually encouraged to make adjustments as needed as long as we are comfortable doing so. Her doctor recorded that in the notes. I can send you a copy of them if you'd like. Speaking of that, you have 2 days to remove Adrienne as a point of contact from her medical charts before I file contempt of court. Do you mean contempt? The doctor is required to list who is with daughter that is providing care for her at home. She is not listed as a point of contact. However, your husband and mother still are. You may want to check on that before attacking me. She isn't allowed to make medical decisions, period. You shouldn't be either with how low daughter always is at your house. Hey, Michael. I have some good news for you. Did you file the paperwork for court today? Yes, first thing this morning, and I don't know if we just lucked out or they recognized your case, but we are scheduled for 10 days from now. Seriously? I was expecting to have to wait a month or so. Not this time, which is very odd. But I included the concern with daughter's health into the filing, so they may realize this needs to be solved immediately. Do you think that the judge will give us their ruling from the bench? It's a possibility. I would think so with how seriously they are pushing us to get in front of the judge. Thank God. I can't handle much more with how she is neglecting a serious illness. Well, fingers crossed we are almost at the finish line. Hi, I'm trying to get in contact with the school nurse regarding my child's blood glucose reading I just received from her monitor. I am the school health aide. How can I help you? Is that the same thing as the nurse? I'm sorry, I don't know what a health aide is. Our school does not have a nurse. It's just me. I'm certified in CPR and first aid, and trained to dispense medications prescribed to students. Can you tell me your daughter's name? My daughter's name is blank. Her monitor shows that she was reading at a 215 at lunchtime, was not given her insulin, and is now at almost 400. Is there a reason she was not dosed? I am monitoring her glucose, and was just about to call her down to give her a correction. I am just following the directions that her mother. So daughter was at almost a 400 at school today because the aide is directed not to dose her under 250. And no glasses once again for son at school or medical bracelet for daughter. The school get their orders from the doctors. You have a problem with how they do things. Take it up with the school, not me. Son did not wear his glasses because he didn't want to. Just because he doesn't want to wear them is not a reason to let him go to school without them. How is he supposed to learn without being able to see? How about you tell me why your kids were so upset this morning about having to go with you for the weekend? Why are they so scared to be in your care? They've been dreading it all week. That's probably what affected daughter's glucose reading. All this stress from you. Focus on how you're affecting the kids more than some number on a monitor, Michael. Court is now in session to determine the custody of the two minor children of Michael and Helen. Currently, the children reside primarily with their mother. Is this correct? I see that there was a relocation order granted about 18 months ago, allowing the children to move with their mother 4 hours away from where their father is located. Yes, Your Honor, that is correct. I see that one of the minor children has a chronic illness. Is this also correct? Yes, Your Honor, my youngest child was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And since that diagnosis, is her diabetes controlled or considered uncontrolled? It is considered uncontrolled according to her medical charts. Can you tell me after the diagnosis if you and the mother were given resources or education so you could both have a foundation to understand how to care for a diabetic child? Yes. Upon being admitted to the emergency room after diagnosis, we were both given a course on diabetic care through the pediatric wing of the hospital and taught how to administer medication before daughter was allowed to be discharged. We both received education on that date, and her mother has since been ordered to receive additional education since then. So you both were educated on dietary care for a diabetic. Yes, we were both taught the correct nutrition needs for our child and the importance of keeping her blood glucose levels in the proper range. Can you explain the concerns you have voiced in your petition for custody on how the mother cares for daughter and her diabetic needs in her home? Yes. I have had concerns over how Helen would care for daughter since day 2 of her diagnosis. We were in the emergency room with our 5-year-old child who was in DKA, and Helen would. After we finally got over that hurdle, I was still concerned. I originally kept daughter with me for the first few weeks after diagnosis to have her close to her endocrinologist, and after she went back to her mother's, I gave it a few weeks for her mother to get the hang of it. I thought that once daughter was using her medical devices such as her pump and Dexcom, it would help lessen my worry. It has made me more concerned because it confirmed my fears that while she is in her mother's care, she is not receiving insulin until she is way past her target range. She is consistently almost double her target level and fails to receive corrections until she is over 250. I have had to call and remind her mother to give medication as prescribed. I would have to correct how the medical devices were installed and used on her, and this resulted in your mediation agreement which laid out very specific rules.